Hare Krishna. So this is what the request of Srila Narada Muni. So he is eager to hear about Lord Krishna's pastimes more and more, which will bring auspicious to the entire world. Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of narrations of the activities of Supreme Lord, is auspicious for all uh, living entities, all living beings residing in every planet. One who takes it as belonging to a particular sect is certainly mistaken. Srimad Bhagavatam is certainly a very dear scripture for all the devotees of the Lord, but it is auspicious even for the non devotees also, because it explains that even the non devotees hovering under the spell of material energy can be delivered from such clutches if they hear the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam with devotion and attention from the right source representing the Lord by disciplic succession. When Srimad Bhagavatam heard from right source, it has full potency to bring out bhakti in their heart. So that is the understanding of this purport. Then in the next four verses, Parikshit Maharaj inspires Sukadeva Goswami to speak Bhagavatam continuously. And then he asks in the rest of the chapter various questions. Katayishva Mahabhaga Yataham Akilatmani Krishne Nivesha Nissangam Manastekse Kalevaram.
Oh, great Lord Shukadev Goswami, please continue narrating Srimad Bhagavatam so that I can place my mind upon the Supreme Soul, Lord Krishna, and being completely freed from material qualities, thus relinquish this body.
So he is asking that Katayishva Mahabhaga, my dear great master Mahabhaga, please continue to describe this Krishna Katha, Ari Katha. Yataham Akil Atmani, the Katha of Akil Atmani, Lord Hari, who is the Paramatma of each and every living entity. For what reason? Krishne Nivesha Nissangam Manasteksve Kalevaram. So, by becoming detached from all the material things and by concentrating my mind upon the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, Krishne Nivesha Manas, I want to give up my body. Takshe Kalevaram. In 7 days, Takshaka, the snake bird created by the Shringi, the son of Shamika Rishi, is going to come and kill me by his snake bite. So before that, or at the time of giving up my body, I want to meditate upon the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and I want to become completely detached from all the material things of this material world. So keeping that in mind, I request you to continue to speak Krishna Katha till that time, till that Takshaka will come and bite me. So that let me continuously hear Krishna Katha, and at the time of death, let me meditate upon the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So with this intention, he is requesting Sukadeva Goswami to speak Krishna Katha. So same way, Prabhupada also mentions in the purport, he says that it is the duty of the sane man, it is the duty of the sane man to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from a self-realized soul and not be duped by professional men. One should continue such hearing till the end of one's life, so that one can actually have the transcendental association of the Lord and thus be delivered simply by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj Parikshit had already given up all his concentration, connection with his kingdom and family, the most attractive features of materialism. But still he was conscious of his material body. He wanted to be free of such bondage, also the constant association of the Supreme Lord. And this is expected by any person who is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the kind of hint is given in this verse and purport. Then Parikshit Maharaj further continues saying that how this hearing works. So how by constant hearing of Krishna Katha, it brings the mind upon meditating upon Lord Krishna's lotus feet, that is Krishna Niveshya Mana and Manas Nissangam, and how the mind gets detached from all these material objects. That will be explained in the next three verses 4 and 5, 4, 5 and 6. Shrunvata Shraddhaya Nityam Grantasya Swacheshtitam Kalena Nati Dirgena Bhagavan Vishate Hrudi.
Person who hears Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna manifested in their hearts within a short time.
So here he describes about how the hearing process works. Shrunvata, by hearing, Shraddhaya, with faith, Nityam, continuously, every day, Grinatasa Chvacheshritam, making an endeavor to hear and understand the subject matter of Krishna Katha. When one does this continuously with complete faith that this hearing Krishna Katha is one and only solution for my perfection. Kalena na ati dirigena, not after very long time. Dirigena means long. Ati dirigena means very long. Na ati dirigena means not after very long time. That means very soon. In very less short time, Bhagavan Vishate Hrudi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan will enter the heart. The indication is, though Paramatma is situated within our heart, the Jiva with material consciousness is performing so many material activities in this world. But when by good fortune, from the association of pure devotee, when one hears Krishna Katha, that Krishna Katha will enter through the ear holes and enters into the heart. So along with Krishna Katha, the Bhagavan also enters into the ears and the heart of the hearer. So that is what is indicated. When we hear Krishna Katha, along with the sound vibration, the personality of Godhead also enters into our ear holes. Bhagavan Vishate Hrudi. That not after very long time. He enters very soon. As soon as we start hearing Krishna Katha with eagerness, with utmost faith, and with utmost surrender, the Bhagavan enters into our ears and then the heart. And how he enters, that is mentioned in the next verse. Pravishta Karnarandrena Swanam Bhava Saroruham Dunoti Samalam Krishna Salilasya Yata Sharat.
The sound incarnation of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, enters in the heart of a self-realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material association, such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus, it acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water.
So here Parikshit Maharaj says that Pravishta Karnarandrena. So that Bhagavan, along with the Harikatha sound vibration, enters into the ear holes. Swanam Bhava Sarorham. Then through those ear holes, he directly goes to the heart. Swanam Bhava Sarorham. Though there was already the Paramatma, but still Bhagavan enters to the sound vibration and enters into the heart, and he takes his seat in the lotus of the heart. And by just sitting there in the lotus of the heart, he does one important thing. Dunoti Samalam Krishna. Krishna means completely. Samalam means all the contaminations, all the materialistic desires, all the materialistic aspirations that have been stored from so many millions of lifetimes. Dunoti. He completely cleanses them from the heart. He cleanses to the extent that in the Sharat season, how the water in the pond becomes crystal clear and very transparent. In that way, the heart becomes very crystal clear and transparent. At that point of time, one will be able to pursue Bhagavan within one's heart very, very, very clearly. And also, one will be able to pursue what is one's Swarupa, what is one's relationship eternally in the spiritual world with the Supreme Lord. And that particular relationship will manifest in the heart of that devotee. And that devotee starts rendering service to the Lord in that particular melo or in that particular rasa, either Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya, or Madhurya. That is called as Bhava Saroruham. The Lord becomes, or Lord makes his relationship with that Jiva after cleansing the heart of all the Mala in one of the 5 primary or principal rasas, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya, or Madhurya. So this is what happens by hearing Krishna Katha with faith and continuously. Shrunvato Shraddhaya Nityam Grinatasa Swacheshritam. So one of the meaning of Swacheshritam means putting some endeavor for the purpose of hearing, for the purpose of understanding, for the purpose of contemplating upon it. So when one puts some endeavor, Lord reciprocates in this way. So that is what is indicated in this verse. And finally, what will be the state of consciousness of a person whose heart is cleansed by Bhagavan? So one understanding is, normally Paramatma is always there within our heart, but Paramatma is in Yoga Nidra. So in spite of Paramatma being within our heart, a person always thinks about materialistic sense gratification or sinful activities, and one performs also, and Paramatma is indifferent to all those activities. As a sanctioner, he simply sanctions whatever a jiva wants to do. Thus, so many impressions about material experiences and material desires will accumulate in the heart. But when Bhagavan enters into the heart of a devotee, he does not tolerate all these sinful tendencies, sinful samskaras. So he immediately cleanses of all those anarthas and makes the heart crystal clear for a devotee, and then manifests the swarupa of the devotee in relation to the Supreme Lord. So this is the special activity performed by Bhagavan when he enters into the heart through the sound vibration, when that sadhaka makes an endeavor to hear and understand the Krishna Katha. So in that way. Then what will be the state of a person whose heart is purified? That is mentioned in this last verse. Dhautatma Purusha Krishna Padamulam na munchati Mukta Sarva Pariklesha Pantasva Sharanam Yata.
Devotee of the Lord whose heart has once been cleansed by the process of devotional service never relinquishes the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, for they fully satisfy him as a traveler is satisfied at home after a troubled journey.
So it is like a businessman or a merchant after traveling to many places, after earning sufficient amount of wealth, going through a lot of difficulties, when that merchant comes home, his own home, where he again reunites with his family members, wife, children, parents, etc., having earned sufficient amount of wealth, he becomes very much happy, and he does not go again to the to earn much more money, and he remains very happily situated in his own home with his family members. Similarly, when a devotee endeavors or works hard in one's respect to sadhana with a desire to purify one's heart, eventually by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when the Supreme Lord enters into the heart of the devotee through the sound vibration of Harikatha, as he purifies the heart by cleansing it all from all the anarthas, Dautatma Purusha, when that person cleansed of all these anarthas, Krishna Padamulam Namunchati, such person having developed special affection toward the Supreme Lord in a particular, in one of the five rasas, will never give up the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Padamulam na munchati. That person will never give up the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Mukta sarva pariklesha. Pantasva sharanam yata. So, this condition of a devotee is compared with a merchant having gone through a lot of hardships. After earning sufficient amount of money, when he comes home and when he reunites with his family members, he feels complete satisfaction. That kind of satisfaction will be experienced by a devotee when his heart is completely cleansed of all the anarthas, and when the devotee develops a particular rasa or a particular relationship in a particular rasa with the Supreme Lord. He has nothing else to obtain in this world. That state is described as Mukta Sarva Pariklesha, freed of all the hardships and is situated in the perpetual happiness state. So this is what happens when one hears with the pure heart. When one hears Krishna Katha with the eagerness to become pure and become servant of the Supreme Lord. So thus in 4 verses or 5 verses from verse number 2 to 6, Parikshit Maharaj expressing his eagerness to hear Krishna Katha, expressing his intention to hear Krishna Katha, expressing the benefit of hearing Krishna Katha, and expressing the goal that he want to obtain by hearing Krishna Katha. So these are the various ways he is inspiring Sukadeva Goswami. Even previously also during when Parikshit Maharaj asked various questions in the 4th chapter, he also inspired Sukadeva Goswami to speak Krishna Katha. Similarly, he is inspiring him here. And then from verse number 7 all the way till the end of the chapter, he asked various questions. Till verse number 23, he asked about 21 questions. And then later on again he inspired Sukadeva Goswami to speak Krishna Katha. So initially he inspires, in between he asks questions, then at the end also again he inspires. So in that way, Sukadeva Goswami is sure that Parikshit Maharaj is not asking the question just as a matter of duty or as a matter of courtesy. He really wants to hear Krishna Katha from the very bottom of his heart. Then Sukadeva Goswami speaks Krishna Katha continuously for the next 7 days in order to answer all the questions asked by Parikshit Maharaj. So from verse number 7 onwards, all the questions are listed. About 21 questions. I'll tell you which question, which number of question also. You can make note of it. Ye dadatu mato brahman deharambosya dhatubhi yadruchaya yetunava bhavanto janate yata.
O learned Brahmana, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this, for it is known to you?
So here, this is actually the first question asked by Parikshit Maharaj after the question about Narada Muni. So in that way, either you can put it as 2. This is a question number 2 asked by Parikshit Maharaj. Here, the first question, the question is asking is Yad Adadmato Brahman Deharambosya Dhatubi. So Adatmato, the soul is without any connection with 24 material elements. Dhatu means 24 material elements. So the soul has no connection with material elements. It is not a material element. It is actually spiritual element. And that spiritual element obtains a body with which is made up of 24 material elements. Whether the jiva getting a body is it happens by chance, edruchaya, or by because of some cause. So he basically asking, what is the purpose with which the jiva, who is transcendental 24 metal elements, gets a body which is made up of 24 elements? Does it takes place by a chance, or does it take place by a particular cause? So this is the question asked by Parikshit Maharaj. So basically, he's asking that is the material body produced by chance or by a particular reason? This is the second question asked by Parikshit Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
This is the second question or the first question?
Okay. See, first question is about Narada Muni. I want to know about where all Narada Muni went and to whom he spoke the same Bhagavatam. That was mentioned in the first verse.
Okay.
So this is second question.
Okay, Prabhu.
So thus in total there are 22 questions. So in that way. Okay. Now in the next verse, in the 8th verse, he asks the third question. That is, Asidyad udarat padmam lokasamstan lakshanam yavanayam vai purusha yata vai pratak tavanasau iti prokta samstavayavaniva.
If the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of the common living entities?
So in the previous two, 3 chapters, he heard about a lot from Brahma, about Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Karnadaksha Vishnu. So now referring to those discussions, he is asking question. Asit yad udarat padmam loka samsthana lakshanam. He is telling that I heard that from that Lord, from whose navel appears a lotus flower, on top of from which all the 14 planetary systems have been manifested. Yavan ayam vai purusha iyata avayava pratak. And I also heard that purusha, who is called as Virat Rupa, that purusha who has manifested from the lotus in the form of 14 planetary systems, is called as a purusha, a Virat purusha. And also the source of that Virat purusha was Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And both were described to have various bodily limbs. In the 6th chapter, we were discussing that from the eye of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, there appeared the eye of Virat Rupa and the eye of all the living entity. And also the deity who controls the function of the eye is Surya. And also the subtle eye mechanism, Akshni or Chakshu, etc. All these are manifested, etc. etc. So from the description, I understood that Garbhodaksha Vishnu also had all the bodily limbs like that of a normal human being. Just the way a jiva has bodily limbs, Virat Rupa also has a bodily limbs, and Garbhodaksha Vishnu also have different bodily limbs. Iyata avayavai prutak tavan asav iti prokta. That you have described. Just the way jiva had different bodily limbs, Garbhodaksha Vishnu also had different bodily limbs. Samstha avayavan iva. So whether I want to know whether the form of Garbhodaksha Vishnu and the form of jiva, both of them are same or different. Does Garbhodaksha Vishnu and jiva both have same bodily form? Because in the previous verse he asked about the body made up of 24 dhatus has been accepted by jiva. So there he asked that whether I want to know how a jiva accepts the material body either by chance or by a reason. Now he's asking whether the body of Jiva and the body of the Supreme Lord are same or different. So indirectly indicating that whether Garbhodaksha Vishnu's body is material or spiritual, because Jiva's body is material. So Garbhodaksha Vishnu Swami is spiritual or material. This is the third question asked by Srila Parikshit Maharaj. Now in the next verse, he asked the fourth question. Aja srujati bhutani bhutatma yad anugrahat tadarsheyena tadrupam nabi padma samudbhavaha.
Brahma, who was not born of a material source, but of the lotus flower coming out of the navel abdomen of the Lord, is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord.
So somebody may say that no, Lord has no form. Then he said that no, not like that. Lord Brahma actually saw the form of the Supreme Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Oja Trijati Bhutani Bhutatma Yad Anugrahat Tadarshe Ena Tadrupam Nabi Padma Samudbhavaha. That Brahma who appeared from the Nabi Padma, who appeared from the lotus which had appeared from the Nabi of the Supreme Lord, he had Darshe Yena Tadrupam. He actually had seen the form of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Yad Anugraha, by his mercy. And this Brahma, by the empowerment of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, had created all the living entities. And this Brahma very well knew the form of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and because he has seen it, and this Brahma also very well knew the form of all the Jivas because he himself had created them. So I have a proof that Brahmaji had seen it. So in that way he is asking that I want to know that form which Lord Brahma has seen. So please speak about that form, the features of that form, the character of that form. So thus he is asking that if the form of the Lord is similar to that of the material body of Brahma, or is it different? Because here he is asking that Lord Brahma appeared from the transcendental body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. From Garbhodaksha Vishnu's navel appeared a lotus. From that lotus appeared Brahma. So Brahma's form is made up of 24 material elements from our understanding. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking that whether the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu is same as that of Brahma or is it different? Because Brahma was directly born from the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So can you please tell me about this? Now, in the next verse, he asks the fifth question. Sachapi yatra purusho vishvastiti udbhavapyaya muktvatma mayam mayesha sete sarva guhashaya.
Please also explain the personality of Godhead who lies in every heart as the supersoul and as the Lord of all energies, but is untouched by his external energy.
So in this verse, he wants to know about the form of Karanodakshaya Vishnu and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu both also. In the previous two verses, he asked about the form of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Now he is saying that I want to know about the form of Karanodakshaya Vishnu. He says that Sachapi yatra purusho vishvastiti udbhavapyaya muktvatma mayam. So he says that I want to know about that Lord from whom the universe has been created, maintained and annihilated. By whom the universe is created and by whom the universe is maintained and in whom the universe enters after the annihilation. That is referring to Karanodakshaya Vishnu. He is called as Mayesha, the Lord of Maya, Muktatva Mayam, who is superior to Maya, who is transcendently situated Maya. So please speak about that Lord and also speak about the another Lord who is sleeping sarva guhashaye. Sete means to sleep. Sete sarva guhashaya, who sleeps in the heart of every living entity as their Paramatma. So can you kindly speak about the form of Karanodakshaya Vishnu, who is the Lord of Maya, from whom this universe is created, maintained and annihilated, and also speak about Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of each and every living entity. So this is the fifth question asked by Parikshit Maharaj. Next, sixth question. Now he is going to ask the sixth question. Purushavayavirloka Sapala Purvakalpita Loker Amushyavayavai Sapaler iti Sushruma.
O Lord Brahman, it was from me explained all the planets for the universe with their respective governors are situated in different parts of the gigantic body of the Virat Purusha. I have also heard that a different planetary system is supposed to be in the gigantic body of the Virat. What is the actual position? Will you please explain it?
So here Parikshit Maharaj says that Purusha Avayavair Loka Sapala Purva Kalpita. So all the planetary systems along with their leaders were imagined to be different body limbs of the Supreme Lord. So this is referring to the fifth chapter of the second canto. In the fifth chapter, so this all the planets along with their leaders were imagined as the different limbs of the Supreme Lord. Like Bhuloka is the Nabi, Borloka is the abdomen, and Bhuloka is the thighs, Borloka is the Nabi, and Maharloka, Janloka, Tapaloka is the chest, heart, neck, lips, and the forehead, like that. They were imagined. So that was imagined in the fifth chapter. And in the first chapter, Loker, Amushya, Avayava, Sapaler, iti Shushma. In the first chapter, the Lord's various limbs are identified with different lokas and with their leaders. So this has been mentioned in the first chapter. So I want to know whether this is all or something else more is there. So can you please speak about the form of Virat Rupa also? If something is still missing, something you have not yet spoken about. So basically he's asking about, please speak about the form of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. I mean first living entity, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, and also the universal form. Speak about all these things. So because Padma Purana says that one who knows about these three lords, Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, they will be liberated from this material world. There is one verse which is mentioned in the Bhagavatam first canto, in the third chapter, while describing about the Purusha Avataras. That verse says that Vishnostu trini rupani Purushakyani ato vidu ekam tu ma srishtir dvitiyam tu tantu sammitam tritiyam sarva bhutanam tani jnatva vimuchyate. The Supreme Lord Vishnu manifests in three Purusha avatars. The first one is the creator of Mahatattva. The second one is the soul of the entire universe, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. The third Purusha, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, is the Paramatma of each and every living entity. It is he who knows these three lords will be liberated from this world. Tani jnatva vimuchyate. One who knows these three will be liberated from this material world. So that is what is indicated. So basically he asks about different forms of Lord Vishnu in his different manifestations. So please speak about all these wonderful forms. So in the purport, Acharya has mentioned that, so these verses are indirectly indicating that knowing about the transcendental features of Supreme Lord will be useful for a devotee who practices their bhakti in Shanta and Dasya Rasa. So these verses are actually asking various questions wherein the Lord's Aishwarya is being described. So Aishwarya Jnan will be helpful for those devotees who want to perform their bhakti in Shanta or Dasya Rasa. That is some connection to it. Then from here, there are many more questions asked. He asked about various other factors. Yavan kalpo vikalpo va yata kalo anumiyate bhuta bhuta bhavoya bhavachadda ayurmanam chayattatam.
Also, please explain the duration of the time between creation and annihilation and that of the subsidiary creation, as well as the nature of time, indicated by the sound of past, present, and future. Also, please explain the duration of the measurements of the life of the different living beings known as the Demeters, human beings, etc., in different planets of the universe.
He says that Yavan kalpo vikalpo va yata kalo anumiyate. Please tell me about the divisions of time in terms of kalpa and the different divisions and subdivisions of kalpa. Bhuta, bhavya, bhavachada in the form of past, present, and future. So please talk about time in three features, and also please speak about Ayu, the lifespan of different beings that are living in the entire world. The human beings, devatas, and pitrus, all their lifespan. Please speak. This is the seventh question, and this is answered in the 11th chapter of the third canto. 311 talks about these are all different divisions of time in the past, present, and future, and also the lifespan of human beings, devatas, and pitrus, etc. have been mentioned in the 11th chapter of the third canto. कालस्यानुगैर्यातु लक्ष्यतेऽन्विबृहति अपि यावत्या कर्मगतयो यादृशी द्विजसत्तमा.
O purest of the Brahmanas, please also explain the cause of the different durations of time, both short and long, as well as the beginning of time following the course of action.
So this verse he asked about two questions. One is about kalasya anugatir yatu lakshate anvi bruhati api. So please tell me about how kala manifests in smaller divisions and bigger divisions. Anvi means smaller divisions, anu, bruhati means big. So how time progresses with small and big divisions. And then the next two lines, here the second question. That is, yavatya karmagatayo yadrishi dvija saptama. Can you kindly speak about the effect of karma? How karma takes a person from one place to other place? This also you speak. Basically, it tells that please speak about the effects of time and please speak about the effects of karma, kala and karma. These are the two questions, question number 8 and 9 in this verse.
Prabhuji, can you please elaborate on the both short and long time means the smaller unit of time in seconds and all, and longer means years as per the different planets, duration of years will be different. In that way we should understand it.
No, not like that. So you will get more details when we discuss 11th chapter of third canto. The smaller time divisions are like in our normal observation we see seconds, minutes, hours, years, decades, centuries. The bigger divisions are in the form of the yugas, manvantaras, and Brahma's days, and Brahma's months, and Brahma's years, and Brahma's lifetime. So in that way they are called as small or big. Here Anu refers to the smallest